Yo, yo, yo. All right. We are back on live. So I realized that the sound was definitely not coming through, but able to make it work. So let's get straight into it. So I thank you guys for joining. It's Lionel Mosby Jr., the Biblical Entrepreneur. You can find me over on YouTube. Just type in Lionel Mosby Jr. into that search browser. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so that you can catch all of the lives as we go live. Of course, we talk about biblical entrepreneurship. We talk about, of course, real estate, right? And so we just want to talk about all those things that we can be as successful as God has created us to be. And so one of the things that we've been doing and that we started doing recently is we've been reading through this book, Business Secrets from the Bible by Rabbi Daniel Lapin, right? So I actually went through secret number 1 last week. So I'm actually going to be looking at secret number 2 this week. And it's only 4 pages, and it's really 3 pages because it's not that long at all, right? So I'm going to go ahead and trek through it this evening, right? Make sure that you drop hashtag live if you're watching this live, hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. And make sure you drop those fire emojis if you hear something that stands out to you, right? Just leave it in the comments that kind of stuck in your mind, right, as we go through. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Secret number 2, it says, is an infinite God created us in his image with infinite imagination, potential, creative power, and desires. It says, though God placed Adam in the Garden of Eden, in which all was provided, he nonetheless insisted that Adam was to work, Genesis 2:15. Adam could have lived an idyllic and idle life, drinking from the bountiful rivers of Eden and plucking luscious fruits as he desired from all but 2 trees. We soon shall see that while a balanced life is necessary, God's plan is for man to strive to achieve more. Ambition is a good thing. We all were created to desire as much as possible, but we also wish to expend only the least possible effort. Discontentment and unhappiness are wrong, but this is in no way contradicts our legit desire for more. Most of us have had the experience of being teenagers and thinking, if only I could lay my hands on $300, I'd be so happy. As we get older, $300 quickly is no longer so attainable for most, but we are still discontent because now we want more. The target has moved. The target, it seems, is always moving. This may seem like greed and taken to excess. It can be a bad thing, but it is actually a powerful motivator and drives us to do God's work, the work of living that we all depend on each other to do. Imagine what would happen if tonight at midnight, all other humans decided that they already had enough of everything they need and no longer needed to work. From now on, they decide they will stay home. Picture your own life in this scenario. You get up the next morning unaware that all of your fellow citizens have abandoned all ambition and are sleeping in forever. There goes your day. Good luck trying to get milk for your morning coffee. The dairy farmer and the delivery truck driver are home in bed rather than producing and supplying fresh milk for your morning coffee at the grocery store. And it won't matter much, of course, because the grocery store will be shut down. The manager who ordinarily works the morning shift is also still at home, contentedly asleep. The same goes for getting gasoline for your car, gas or electric to cook your meals, or a new suit of clothing. The economy and all it provides has come to a screeching halt. Your fellow man's innate desire for more is what makes it possible for your own life to function as smoothly as it does. Likewise, your decision to work makes life easier for your fellow man. As a student, I once spent a long but rewarding summer selling fine English bone china door to door in Europe. After a rigorous and immensely valuable training period, all of us rookie trainee sales professionals were gathered together, and the manager announced that we were each to choose our preferred compensation plan. Choice A was that we received a guaranteed base salary or draw of $250 a week in advance against our sales and 10% commission on all sales. Choice B provided 0 base salary or draw, but we would receive a 40% commission on all sales. I did not know what to do. Not knowing how effective I would be at selling, I figured I could at least count upon a few $100s if I took choice A. This was reassuring. I was about to sign up for choice A when all of a sudden I had an epiphany. If I turned out to be unsuccessful at selling, why would they continue to pay me $250 a week merely for trying? And if I did find myself successful at selling, why would I want to earn only a small commission of 10%? I thought this through again, and I could think of no other reason why the company would keep paying me if I failed to sell. They might pay me for a few weeks, but would then suddenly terminate me. On the other hand, if I developed an aptitude for sales, I could do far better with plan B. I worried about the sure $1,000 a month I was perhaps giving up, but it surely was not really guaranteed if I did poorly. So I went with plan B. We had to write our choice on slips of paper along with our names and pass them to the front, where the manager's assistant quickly divided them into two piles, which I assumed to be a tall pile of the A's and a much smaller pile of B's. Picking up the larger pile of papers, he asked everyone whose name he called out to go into the next room. That was the last time I ever saw many of my former fellow trainees. To the rest of us, he spoke warmly and congratulated us on successfully completing our training. He welcomed us into the company and explained that he wanted only ambitious men and women who yearned for unlimited potential for working with him. He wanted people interested in infinite possibilities. Anyone seeking the security of a minimal $1,000 a month was not nearly as interesting to him as those of us who had ambition for considerably more. And considerably more was exactly what I did earn that summer. It is the exciting possibility of the infinite that drives medical research to come up with the life-enhancing and life-extending drugs and devices. It is the exciting possibility of the infinite that drives all technological advances. It is the exciting possibility of the infinite that drives the business professional to find ever better ways of serving more customers more effectively. It is what drives progress in the world and is surely God's will. On a subconscious level, we humans are always trying to emulate God. One reason that television so fascinates us is that it allows us to enjoy a taste of God's omnipresence. While God can be everywhere at once, the nearest we can achieve that is to be able to sit in our living rooms and observe the activities of our fellow human beings half a planet away. Television grants us the illusion of almost godly power. This is also true with regard to air travel. Travel by ocean liner is far more comfortable and less expensive than by jet. Yet by the 1960s, most transatlantic ocean liner services were being discontinued. Why would people forsake a leisurely, comfortable, economical 3-day journey from New York to Southampton in favor of being squeezed into a long aluminum cylinder and being hurtled across continents with only a few jet lag hours? Again, one explanation is our deep desire to try and overcome human limitations of space and time, just as God does. God created us with an urge for the infinite. We need to embrace it and never surrender to the seditious and spurious summons of contentment cowering in the sanctuary of security. Accepting our desire for the infinite doesn't condemn us to misery and unhappiness. On the contrary, rejecting contentment doesn't mean being unhappy. In a green and lush meadow on a sunny afternoon, a cow can be content. A human should never be content. Happy? Yes, always, but content? Never. So that was chapter 2, the secret number 2, which was an infinite God created us in his image with infinite imagination, potential, creative power, and desires. And so what the author is seeming to present to us today, right, is the fact that because an infinite God has created us in his image, we also should have infinity in our mind and in our hearts, right? That guess what? We have the ability to grow into so much more. We have the ability to do so much more, right? And so this thought process of ambition or desire in and of itself is not wrong. And I think that's something that is so true that many in the faith-based space in the Christian world, right, we have to come to this understanding that guess what? God, it says in the scriptures, God would give us the desires of our hearts, but those desires obviously have to be sanctified by God, his will, his word, right? And so it's not just any and everything, right? But that godly ambition that's placed inside of us in order to do something that will bring glory to God and that will be of a benefit to our fellow men and women, that is something that is powerful and that we should lean into and that we should go after, right? I love the story that he tells about being a professional who has learned how to sell, and then they place these two opportunities of compensation plans before him, and they say, hey, you're going to choose plan A, which has some security, but a small amount of ability to actually earn off of what you actually do and the work you put in. Or you have a huge amount that you'll be able to keep, almost 50%, right, that you'll be able to store yourself, but you have no guarantee of a base salary. And, we have to, I believe, ask ourselves that question as well, right? In our specific field or wherever we are right now, whatever God has called us to do, in the way that we're going about it, are we going about it like plan A? Or are we going about it as if we are choosing plan B, right? And obviously plan B gives us the potential to do, to be, to have so much more, right? And I think that's a blessing, because we can then use that blessing to turn around and be so much more of a blessing to other people. So, man, I really appreciate you guys jumping on. Again, if you're watching this live, drop hashtag live in the comments. If you're watching this as replay, drop hashtag replay in the comments. If something stood out to you today, make sure you also put that there. I know a lot of people will probably watch the replay. So make sure you drop in the comments what stood out from this chapter and this secret number 2. And again, I think, these are really powerful principles, because these are really showing us and speaking more about our relation to God and who God is, right? He is infinite, right? And he's created us to live for eternity. And that's why we would continue and continue, right? Growing in his will and in the knowledge of him, right? And in a knowledge of the great universe that he's created, right? And so the same way that we're going to grow for eternity, we also should be growing right in this specific time and the place that he has us in right now today. Also, I just want to remind y'all, right? Y'all can definitely follow us over at YouTube, right? Just make sure you type in Lionel Mosby Jr. there, right? Follow me over there. This is where all this content will be living forever. We're seeking to go live throughout the week, right? Talking about biblical entrepreneurship and about real estate. So make sure you're following us, right? Go and hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you see when we go live. And also follow the Lion and the Lambo podcast as well. We drop new episodes every week. This past week, we just dropped the episode with Ken Sutton, who was talking about ensuring eternal life through life insurance, right? So I thought that this is such a powerful episode to hear Ken and his story about what he's doing in the field that God has placed him in. So again, I want to thank you guys for jumping on with me. I hope you appreciate us going through the book. Make sure you grab the book, right? Business Secrets from the Bible, so that we can read together. And until next time, I'll see you later. Go impact the world.